I think so. I mean, I just got here.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. It just look at this. It just eats it away. Hey, we're back. All right, Andrew, say something. Somebody say something.
Something.
Oh, good. The audio's working. I should have probably figured that out beforehand. Hi, welcome. It's another hour of your life that's about to be wasted playing Blobkin. Are you guys ready for this?
Is anyone
Are you
ever
ready?
ready?
No, nobody's
Ready.
ever ready. Nobody's ever ready, but that's okay because Andrew and
That is my
Mark,
name.
Justin, Jason, Chris, we're all here. We're going to play Blobkin together. And we're going to talk about Blobkin, and we're going to listen to a baby in the background cry. Should I bring the special guest, or is the special guest tired? All right, bring her over. We're going to have a special guest here, Andrew. Just for a minute.
For those of you not in Brave Lunch, this is Baby
Oh, man. Oh, she has a little spit. That's okay. She is the manager of the studio. Hey.
You could fire me in an instant without regret.
In an instant. But she's so happy to be here. Look at this. Wow. And we're in Hobbiton. If I just move like this, I disappear into Hobbiton.
Strangely,
Aw.
causing your head to disappear is very weird.
I know. I guess there can only be one. There can only be one. She's really liking this whole standing situation too, so
Good.
good or evil. Okay, so what happened this week in Blobkin? Andrew or Chris? Who wants to talk
I would
about
say
it?
Chris is the one more Chris is the one more qualified to talk about this.
Chris, you're qualified. What are we working on this week?
Well, the fishkills are random now. They can come in any color, they can come in any size, and they can swim in at any speed.
Any speed, any size, any color?
Yeah. I mean, there's limits, so not very comical numbers, but yeah.
Whoa. Well, that sounds excellent. The baby manager wants to be in a stream. Okay. Baby manager wants to be held. This will make playing VR very difficult. Good. So we have multiple colors, multiple screens. I hear that there's more paths for attacking too, more enemy spawn points.
They have many more paths they can take compared to the normal, I think, 2, if you noticed.
Whoa.
Yeah.
All right. And let's go to lit. Whoa, look at this game. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down the baby manager. I'll be right back, and we're going to play some Blobkin. Unless, Andrew, you have anything else you want to add to Chris's weekly update from development?
I've actually been a little bit out of the loop this week. I've been working on some other projects.
Well, the baby manager is still content. Okay. Content baby. Okay. Everyone say bye to the manager. Great. Okay.
Goodbye, manager.
All right.
We're just okay. I can't actually. I might need some help here from the baby manager supervisor. I would try to make her look like she's going through the door, but she doesn't. She just kind of disappears into the ether. Thank you, supervisor. Okay. Now it's been a while since we actually pushed out a build, and we're gonna push one out on Friday. So if anybody here has the build from 2 weeks ago, it's still pretty good, but we are trying a few new things. So guys, I'm just gonna hit play and we're gonna see what happens. What do y'all say?
Sounds good to me.
Scary.
Go ahead.
Okay, so one thing I've noticed already is a bug. It's nothing to do with us. Is that you have to constantly switch Steam to do that.
Oh, your audio is cutting.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Cool.
To defend your quarry, pick up one of us blobkins and stab with the pointy end
Right,
of your
put my
mighty
hands backwards.
blaster.
Yay! I have hands. Oh, there goes my weapon.
Can't see your screen.
It's
What?
slaying, Queen
You
slay.
can't see your screen.
You can't see it, but the stream can.
Ah,
I thought about
Yeah,
this.
I have the stream up, and I'm making sure of that.
okay. That's good to hear.
Here, we'll do one of these things. Hey, there you go. Okay. Alright, so goodbye, weapon. You, there's a certain point. Oh, okay. There's a certain point. If you just aim bottom of your hand, it'll grab it. But sometimes it will just go away. You just gotta aim at it. Shotgun.
So the income.
I don't know if we showed this off last week, so we have new sounds.
That's right. We do have new sounds.
New sounds. In fact, here's this beautiful rocket launcher.
Don't forget me.
And there are some people who were complaining they didn't know how to reload the weapon. So I put a few markers that I hope are pretty obvious. And then on top of that, we even have like a little blue orb of magic where you can see it here too. Little blue orb tells you where the weapon should go. All right, so here's a rocket launcher. Apparently the rocket launcher does not break the sign though. So that's a bug. Now here's another bug. Well, it's actually more of a feature. You can dual wield.
I regret nothing.
My
I
favorite is the
regret
shotgun,
nothing.
I have to admit. Alright, now one day we'll have the ability to do a two-handed thing, but for now. So, we are working on multiple fish, but as you can see, let's try that again.
For the
actually.
kingdom!
For the kingdom, okay.
Remember me!
So, you can see we have a few new spawn points. A few evil fish. Hey, there's another one. By the way, I've noticed this bug sometimes. This only happens in the VR preview where it only does one at a time. It's really interesting. Kind of a weird bug, actually. Alright, so let me actually reload that. And we're going to redo VR preview. Alright, so grabbing Blobby. Don't need the rocket launcher now. So yeah, we have some brand new fish. And you can actually admire them by walking forward with your left thumbstick. Now, one day we'll get teleporting, but for right now we have movement. And then your right thumbstick lets you spin around, but that'll make you a little sick, so don't do that too much. But yeah, look at this. We have ourselves a pink fish. It's pretty cool looking. And we can kill him just like that. Another cool thing is our homes. So Josh has gone ahead and designed some homes. I wish he was in here. He could tell us all about it. But we are starting to see the beginnings of the Blobkin Village home. So yeah, it's pretty neat. There's a few Easter eggs in there. You just have to walk up to them and read. But our little homes of Blobkin are being all put together. Look at that. So cool. Of course, they do live in a trashy little place, right? Because it's beneath the ocean and it's been littered. But over time, we're going to clean it up and kick some ass, all in the same process. All right, so let me restart it one more time. Just so, because VR Preview sometimes doesn't want to properly work. So let me just try it one more time. Here we go. And I'll grab my weapons. We're just going to go full shotgun. Just shotgun the whole way. Whoa. See, this bug does happen sometimes, though. They just spawn really slowly. There's also another bug that that I recently encountered, where for some reason these little guys don't go for the food, even though the food is like right there. Whoop. So we have a few bugs that we're ironing out, but we also have a few mechanical things that we've gotten working. Some new enemies, new differences in enemies, kind of refine the shotgun a little bit more. I'm going to get rid of the laser sight, though, on build time. That way it's just a little bit more. You can use like the weapon more. You don't have to rely on just laser sight. But outside of that, if I go ahead and share my screen again. Outside of that, we do have, like I said earlier, nice little homes, updated weapon, a nicely shaded rocket launcher. Thank you, Kostas. And a couple of new enemy variants, all through the magic of Chris's programming. You know what? I want to try it one more time, because for some reason, like I said, for some reason it doesn't like to... For some reason it doesn't want to spawn multiple. Who knows? Maybe, Chris, you can debug it. Let's try it one more time.
Yeah, I'll look into it after.
What?
Weapon.
Did I just crash? Oh, you know what? No, that's not a crash. If you use the shotgun, you'll shoot the... You don't crash, but you'll shoot the exit sign. If you don't
yeah.
aim well enough, you'll shoot the exit sign.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound
I
good.
just think it's kind of funny. All right, well, since... Oh, yeah, sometimes they spawn above you. Oh, wait, he's eating. He's eating. Wait, that's not what I want. Hey, they're eating again. This is excellent. What? All right, let's see. Let's see how long we last. I think there's almost like a limit to how many enemies we can have on screen, because my performance is taking a little bit of a hit. But that's okay. Let's see where the limit is. Okay, now this is getting ridiculous. This is exactly what it needs to be.
I will also point out that you're not really broadcasting audio through the game on the stream.
It is or it is not?
It is not. I cannot hear you through the stream.
Oh, really? That's weird.
I hear you. I can hear you speaking, but I can't hear the game.
Oh, weird. You know what? That's this like Steam bug. For some reason, you gotta like
Gotcha.
toggle it. There we go. That should do it.
I'll do it.
Oh my gosh. Ah, no.
Will I rise in 3 days? I'm useful.
Alright.
Load me up, Scotty. For the kingdom!
Let's see how long we can go.
Stab me like this.
Although,
is
actually, what
Blobkin!
we can do is throw them into super weapons. So let's do that. Hey! We completed a round. Now, the problem with the super weapon is a lot of people don't know that it's a functional thing. So that's something we've been thinking a lot about. Like, how do you make sense of this? How do you tell people, hey, this is the thing we need to use? So we've been thinking about that a lot. If anyone has some thoughts,
Is
certainly
Blobkin!
would welcome them. Alright, so I think this should make the level a little bit harder. It increases the max amount of enemies.
For the kingdom!
But I have so many Blobkin. What if I just keep throwing them into the weapon? How many do I need? Like 10?
Either 5 or 10, yeah. It
Well,
goes
I
up.
already did the 5, so do I need
Yeah,
more?
so it's 10. Yeah.
I think we're gonna need a counter up there. Also, this is a nightmare. Look how many blobbies are out there on
Stab
the
me
floor.
like This is Blobkin!
Alright, now this is getting scary. Oh no. Oh no. Alright, I'm hoping I can get 10. Chris, I think, or Andrew, I think we need a counter. We know how many.
That is in the works.
I regret nothing. Load me up, Scotty.
Okay.
The
Stab me
whole
like
generator super weapon is gonna have a pretty big update.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
So now I'm
overhaul.
apparently on round 3. So let's see what happens here.
Stab me like you love.
I want to like push this to the max. How deep does this rabbit hole really go?
Best day ever.
So, do you need
Best
15
day
Blobkin for
ever.
round 3? Is this what's going on?
Load me up,
I think
Scotty.
we're gonna need-
Did I do good? Best day ever.
Okay.
For the kingdom! Will I rise in 3 days? Load me up,
Oh my
Scotty.
god. Oh lord. Okay.
I'm useful. This is Blobkin!
I got points. I have no idea what's
Best
going
day
on.
ever. For the glory of Blobkin! For the glory of Blobkin!
We're gonna go until we crash.
Remember me, my bubble butt.
Oh jeez,
Don't forget me.
that's a
Stab me,
lot.
stab me.
What? Oh
I think there's like a theoretical limit
Remember me.
that we're
no. It
definitely.
seems to be running really well, actually.
For the kingdom.
Surprisingly.
Stab me up, Scotty. Did I do
But they're not moving as like a flock anymore. They're kind of like all just kind of hanging out, and it's, I don't know. I kind of like
For the
it.
glory of Blobkin!
I kind of do too,
Ever
and I'm also
good.
really frightened.
Like they just start sprinting at full speed immediately.
Useful.
Like one of them.
Alright, actually, I think I want the Blobkin to die. So I'm just gonna go. So, wait, on round 3 then, is it 15 or 20?
It should 5, 10, 15. Should be 15. We should definitely do like a counter on the
I
generator.
regret nothing. Stab me like Will I rise in 3 days?
There has to perform with the rest.
I'm useful.
They need a really
Question for the generator is what challenge are we trying to give it? Like, is the challenge basically trying to figure out when you should fire off the super weapons, or trying to discover like, okay, well, how much longer do I have to fight to have enough spare Blobkins to throw in it? Because if you have a readout saying you need 15, then you're looking and you see, okay, I have like 5 Blobkins. I need to fight a lot more fish before I can throw 15 in here.
Blobkin remaining. I don't know if that's an accurate number. It might be. I might like
Oh,
let.
it works.
I'm gonna just see how many fish we can spawn at once right now. Man.
442.
Oh no. Oh no. This is a war at this point. Look
For
at
the
this.
glory of Blobkin! This is Blobkin!
Definitely getting like
Don't forget
the Red River at the end of its life in terms of where
I regret
Alright,
Red
This is
River.
the
This is all
GPU.
GPU.
yeah,
Yeah.
the 20
No, you got a 10 series, don't you?
I have a P6000. It's like the 10 series with more RAM.
Yeah.
And it's definitely I'm not sure like what's the worst part here? Like we need a sync of some sort.
Well, I think we should start start looking into them.
Like maybe complexity shouldn't also just be the amount, but how many shots you need to take to kill them.
Yeah, that is gonna be part of it. So you need a certain weapon to kill certain creatures. These are just the base ones. We have about 4 more fish. With all of their own environments that they're native to. So right now they don't really like.
It's still actually surprisingly too easy.
Yeah, because to wipe them out is really quick, but to eat them is slow.
Yeah, they need to be eaten way faster.
Well, don't forget, like, at this point in the game, you will not have the shotgun.
Well, we would have to remove that for the demo then for May.
Yeah.
So that's something also to think about. Or maybe we do want the shotgun. I don't know.
But if we have the shotgun, it becomes too easy.
I think we should have a. I think we should. Wow, this poor headset.
For demo purposes, you could just spit out one of the other weapons as soon as you complete loading a generator. Basically, like just do. Here's 3 different waves. If you can load the generator the first time, it will give you the shotgun for the second wave and the rocket launcher for the third.
I like that. The rocket launcher also needs splash damage of some sort because it definitely doesn't have that much oomph to it, you know.
Usually, it does have a pretty wide range of damage, but I don't think it's working correctly right now.
Yeah, I don't think so either because it went straight through the sun.
Yeah, it should be taking out like a quarter of the map.
Yeah.
So
this was interesting because we went 3 waves and we went as far as we could, and it was overwhelming at first visually, but it wasn't difficult. So what can we do to improve that? Like we gotta get to a lose point, right? Oh, Andrew sideways. We've lost him. He's trying to avoid the light. That's good. Just stay there. Because I'm in New Zealand with this background, right? So we're opposite.
We're really upside down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, I should be the one who's upside down. Anyways, so let's think about this then. We hit the theoretical max. Well, not theoretical max. Well, I guess like computationally. I mean, you could see it. That system was taking a hit, just trying to manage all those creatures, and we also had 3 waves, a whole bunch of fish. I think each wave, those fish should get more health. They should be harder to kill.
Right. So the point is that the shotgun is going to work only at close range. The blaster pistol will take more shots at a longer range, but it can kill them at a long range. The rocket launcher should work at any range, but it's also going to take more time to load in because it's a bigger weapon. You have to get to the end of it. A single blobkin for a single shot.
Mm-hmm.
So it does penalize you in time. But right now, I think the shotgun is either needs to be nerfed a bit.
Yeah.
Or because right now it can take out multiple enemies like 3 enemies at once when the enemies themselves can only take out 1 blobkin at a time.
Well, that's what I think. Like maybe we have to up the ante. Like every wave, the bigger. There might be something to think about too. Like bigger fish, maybe eat more blobkins at once, but have more health as well, and are slower. Does that make sense?
Well,
So
so like one thing that should be happening is we have to look into the animation system or like their behavior. So what should be happening is they reach the end of their spline. Actually, I'm gonna flip myself the correct way so you guys can actually see what I'm doing with my hands.
Mm-hmm.
They should reach the end of their spline and then they attack immediately. It shouldn't be a stop and wait.
Right.
Because right now they're stopping and waiting, and then they're picking one. They just need to go in and grab and then keep moving.
Right.
They can't stop. So when they stop, they become vulnerable.
Yeah, that time period at the end of the spline where they're not actually moving much gives you a very easy target, especially because even with the variation, you will end up with like 4 fish basically stacked on top of each other, and the
Mhm.
shotgun will take all of them out at once.
Right.
I do think that as waves, and remember, I'm just thinking between now and middle of May, like actionable items between now and middle of May for our first big milestone, things that we can do in that time. I think that the second, third, fourth, I mean, every subsequent wave, they have to gain more health. They had to be harder to kill, I think. But now that creates a second problem, which is you're going to have too many blobbies on the field, and that's a performance issue at a certain point too. So should blobbies get bigger and fatter? I mean, I think they do get fatter, right? Blobbies do get.
There was
Yeah.
a mechanic for it.
They do actually still get larger the more meat they eat.
And then they multiply at a certain point.
They still multiply they add another Blobkin for every meat they eat, but there's no scaling modifier for that.
So okay, because
But
like I know we want to make things work good for the demo, but at the same time we shouldn't we should also look at what is to be at the same time. We can't just start like constructing without a foundation.
Well, that's why we're debating.
yeah, so thinking about like the future of levels getting increasingly harder, right? There is an element to moving to different locations. So that means that we're going to beat a location and then move somewhere else.
And then you're going to get a different enemy.
Okay.
Hey,
but
oh, go ahead.
oh, but for the purposes of just beating this one enemy, like, yeah, we can say tweak the numbers to make it get harder the more your waves are, and then at some point it will become impossible and you will lose. But what's
Right.
the win condition?
Survival.
The question I would have is do the Blobkin huts serve any function now?
They're just a static right now. They don't have a function.
So right. So if a certain number of Blobkin were together and they spawn a hut which destroys the Blobkin, but you need to cross a certain number of huts before you can proceed to the next level.
I think try explaining that again, because I felt like I understood it, but I didn't understand it.
It sounds like pain.
Yeah.
I think I got it. Are you saying that like once you have enough Blobkin, you basically they build a hut and hide in it, and they are not usable in this level, but they are permanently safe, so
Yes.
they also can't be eaten.
Right.
Are you sure they can't be eaten? Like, what if?
No, I'm asking if they can't be eaten. So if you're after saving a certain number of Blobkin for the perpetual defense of your realm, and you have already these assets that visually represent security, a Blobkin hut, and if you're looking for something akin to a win state where there's an objective that proceeds you to the next level, my question was like, why not repurpose the huts to be that win state where, oh, there are enough Blobkin on the in this area, like you make a bunch of little cells, and if that cell detects a certain number of Blobkin within
But wouldn't even just one hut have a remove the lose condition altogether? So if you have only one hut that has Blobkin in it and they are basically immune, you could just keep playing and playing and playing until the sun explodes.
Well, you'd be playing infinitely, because let's say 4 huts is the win condition, and like because they keep getting eaten, or because they won't congregate in the loop or the cell, then you're stuck in sort of defense mode of making sure like, okay, I can't use all of them in defense because I want to make sure that someone's spread out enough that they fill in these cells.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that cell's filled with a detectable number of Blobkin, a hut is spawned, and you lose access to that ammo pool. but you get one step closer to the wind state.
I don't think
if-
that's doable for what we're
Okay.
going for, because like when is the deadline, David?
Well, May 14th, we turn it in. It's out of our hand.
May 14th has to be ready to go.
Oh, fair.
And
yeah, maybe not doable for the demo, but it's a thing to possibly think about. I mean,
Yeah.
think about it in the abstract that like right now Blobkin are everything. Blobkin are your hit points because the fish don't attack you, they attack the Blobkin. Blobkin are your ammo because you put them in the guns. Blobkin are how you pass a wave by throwing them into the generator. If there is this hut thing, then Blobkin are also generators of your victory points, and saying like to win the area you need a certain number of victory points. And
Well,
you
I
could
guess-
theoretically try to stay in a wave long enough to build more huts.
You know,
Like wave after wave, you need to get more huts. I don't know.
it is.
I don't know either.
something.
Yeah.
It is something if you think about it, Andrew, because remember the premise here is that you've lost everything as the Blob King, right? Everything's been destroyed. So maybe in a way this is also like rebuilding that kingdom.
yeah, but I kind of mechanically I'm not seeing it as much, because I feel like if it's locked in, I don't know, there's something about it that just doesn't sit right with me right now. I'm trying to put into words. So
Conceptually, if you're saying that the Blobkin are safe, and then you only have like 5 Blobkin go build a hut, and you have 3 on the board, and then the Fishkers eat all those 3, and it says you lose, then you go, what was that hut for?
yeah,
That's the cognitive dissonance there. If it's just that they are building them, and you're trying to like, it doesn't matter how many waves. It's not just survive a number of waves. It's, the waves will keep getting harder, and you have to get enough excess. This is the thing that would like, if our problem is excess Blobkin being generated,
I got a thing.
Go for it.
I got a thing. We start with no generator, no huts, just trash on the ground, and like 5 Blobkin, whatever the initial start is.
Right.
That's it. That's all we got, and the weapon. There's no the wave concept. Ignore that for now, just for now. And Fishker starts spawning. You shoot him. Pew pew pew. Spawns more Blobkin. Blip 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 blip. And after enough Blobkin are spawned, after you've protected them enough, they make their first hut. And I guess let's pretend that we need like 3 huts to win. Okay, so they make their first hut. Just pops into existence at this point. And then you keep fighting because like maybe we can figure out how to make Fishkers. They come out, and then there's a pause, and they come out again. But you're constantly being assaulted, right? Maybe it's not at 100% all the time. Maybe it dips down a little bit, but you're constantly being assaulted. So more Blobkin are spawning because you're making more food. And then the second thing they do is they assemble a shotgun. So the first wave is your first hut, your home. The second wave is the shotgun. So that gives you a weapon to use. Then obviously that, I guess, going back to the wave concept, now that you have a shotgun, the enemies are fatter and harder. They're coming at you. And you need to defend and kill as many Fishkers as possible so you can spawn as many Blobkin as possible so that you can create the generator super weapon machine that maybe we need 20 blobbies. And once you have 20 blobbies, the trash disappears, pop, 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 and the generator appears, and you've defended the area. Now the blobbies have a home, you have a weapon, and they have a generator that protects them. And that's you've won the area. You've restored, as the king, you've restored the place.
like here's how I was originally thinking of it to be, that the homes would be like we'd have different models that would be like over time. There's just like a foundation, and they have a little bit of it coming together, and then just the roof and all that shit. It's just like building over time. But I didn't see it personally, at least. I don't see it as part of the mechanics because I feel like we have enough things mechanically moving. Where if we put too many mechanics, we're starting to push. It just gets a little too crazy.
There's an argument to be made there. You don't want to solve a problem by adding more complexity, and I think that's a fair.
Because right now it's I think right now it's simple enough, but it's enough to keep somebody mechanically busy. Because like the whole point of the generator is to essentially keep them moving instead of just they're grabbing and performing more actions.
Yeah.
That is the point of the generator, really.
I think we need a win state, and like if we defended this little area and it
I would say the win state is just surviving 5 rounds.
But yeah, but like at the end of it, maybe that's when the generator has actually been built. Like the generator builds and it creates the dome and that protects them.
But
However,
how do you break up the waves?
David, so like the I can see how the building things would work, and it doesn't actually, I mean, you were saying adding complexity, but it actually removes complexity, because all that you're doing now in the abstract is shoot enough guys until the number of Blobkin on the ground equals this number. You don't grab them, you don't put them in anything, you don't do anything. It just equals this number. They automatically build the hut, meaning you've won level 1. Like the way you described it, you're not doing anything but shooting until you have enough Blobkins that you win level 1, and they build a hut automatically. You do nothing. And then the same thing happens. They build a shotgun for you automatically. You do nothing. So if we were using the huts to be like, this is an additional victory condition, right? You need to throw guys in the super weapon generator to get a respite, but you also need to pick up and throw guys into the hut to get them to build it, or throw guys into the hut to get enough of them in there for your victory condition. That would be another thing for you to throw guys at. That, I don't know, that might be too complex, but like we want to have more things to do than just shoot.
Yes, I 100% agree with that, Jason. Thank you for making that point. One more thing.
That's why we're doing these debates. These are good.
We could also just construct the narrative to fit what we would like. So you were saying the generator is completed at the end of the 5 rounds, right?
Right. That protects.
Why not have the generator barely functional, and it's just, and then once you feed enough, it works for a little bit, and it just stops working. And you are just essentially repairing it with the Blobkins. Now we've just taken the gameplay problem and made it a narrative one, and it requires far less programming, and we can focus our time where we need it.
What's interesting is Justin kind of. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. A million thoughts at once. Jason, actually, you kind of alluded to this. Where like maybe we don't need to grab the Blobkin to do anything. Then again, there's something nice, visceral about grabbing something. There really is.
We want to keep that.
That's the opposite of what I said. I said that we want to grab the Blobkin to do a second thing besides loading them. And if they build things or finish things just because there's a certain number of them, then it's taking the player's agency out of it. So although I do think that we could have more things that you might need to throw the Blobkin at, you just need to more like I can't think of the words for it. Just basically to indicate it better so that like people understand. Throw a Blobkin over here to make them do this. Throw a Blobkin over there to make them do that. Now it becomes an RTS where it's like, all right, throw this guy at the resources. Throw this guy at the building area.
That's it. I do like what Andrew's kind of hinting at, that like the generator fails, and then like, oh, there's all these fish here. Crap. I do like the hut idea, because I feel like 5 huts, you've won the area. Well, 5 huts and a generator, you've won the area. And I do like you get weapons later. I like that. And then like
Maybe you load the hut. Maybe you load the generator and it spawns a hut, and that's just a visual cue of like, hey, you're succeeding.
Oh.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's goofy because I mean, Blobkin is goofy, but that doesn't make. I'm not.
Well, sorry. This I'll throw another idea that goes along with it because I know we're thinking about like how do we teach the player things because a lot of people looked at it and didn't know they could throw things in the generator or that kind of thing. If you don't start the game with all right, begin shooting fish. If you start the game with like the generator is working, it's like a force field. You can tell there's a bubble around you, right? And then it breaks down, and now fish are coming in, and you have to throw Blobkin at the generator to fix the generator instead of to feed the generator. I mean, it would require some more animation because it would mean like you throw a Blobkin there and he sits on the generator doing a little hand motion like he's working on it.
Even like it's not even like throwing them to fix it. I would say like it's just imagine it like an old Model T. It barely functions and it guzzles gas. So what do you have to do? You have to give it as much gas as you can, but it runs out really quick. So you keep feeding it more gas and get more gas until it works, but then it runs out of gas, and you're just refilling the tank. And also, you could just have little spark animations of it just shutting down.
I think there's something interesting where you have to grab the blobbies and throw them at things. Like repair this, build that, repair this, build that, make this. I think there's something interesting there. I'm trying to understand your drawing, by the way, Justin. Can you? I have it on the stream. Can you describe the drawing? Like what the?
Well, the reason I brought it up in the first place was because there was the concern of how to deal with the overabundance of Blobkin and the taxing of it on the computer. So that's why I drew the Blob King with a computer with a VR set, going like holy crap, there's too many. And for at least me as like a visual person, going like, okay, if I see a glowing ring, and I see Blobkin not standing in it, and then as they stand in it, it glows brighter, and then suddenly it just like pops and there's a dust cloud, and like whatever you're building builds out of that dust cloud. Then they need not build wherever they're congregating. You would just toss them into the zone that we designate where you need a building, or where you need your shotgun, or where you need your generator. So it's just sort of me illustrating that if the difficulty is dealing with,
that's kind of funny that like there could be floating items, like kind of some games do that. They're like transparent. You have to throw, and then you would throw Blobkins in there, and enough a shotgun appears. That'd be interesting.
Well, also if it's a zone that they just stand in, then like when you throw a Blobkin in there, he's standing in the zone and he stops running around getting food. So he's not off the board though. He's still your Blobkin, and fish going near him will still eat him. You have to protect him.
Also, just another thing. Are we talking about this is a permanent mechanic, like something that's for the long term, or is this for Steam?
I mean, I don't think we're going to be in a position of permanency until we're like, yep, we've got it. I think
because we still have a lot of mechanics that are not to where we would like them to be right now. The grabbing is not where we want it to be.
Right.
The Fishker's animation is not where we want it to be. So why should we focus on these new mechanics for this very important
those
festival?
are separate. Those are separate people, though, right? Chris works on mechanics. Mark is working on grabbing. I'm working on it. Those are separate people.
But all of these things feel like future developments, like being able to have like.
We need to focus all of our resources into polishing what we can.
Well, at the moment, the issue we have right now at the moment is that there's no end state. The game crashes because there's going to be too many items. Like I have a fairly powerful computer, and at 3 waves, it's virtually unplayable. So that's not fun. So the demo won't be fun. And we're not going anywhere with anything. Like the first wave is sort of, hell, that's cool, I get it. But we do have to have some sort of like period at the end of this demo by May 14th, because right now our current end state is the game crashes because it's overwhelming your machine. And that's
Okay.
not fun.
Jeez.
That we can't ship.
That, yeah.
That's the problem that we're trying to solve today.
We could
Yeah.
have. Here's what we could do, David. If we really want to focus, if we want to, so the issue is that here's why I'm seeing the issue is we're trying to do mechanics right now, but we're
trying to use mechanics to solve current
right
issues. Yeah.
Here's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have the scalper attack, and then that's the end state.
We don't have a model. We're not going to have a model and rig in 4 weeks. It's not going to happen.
No, and Andrew's suggestion of just making it be an actual timer, like something that tracks independent of the player, and you know, and that's your end state, and at the end of the timer it clears the level.
What?
Like your suggestion of how to keep it to the bare bones was make it about survival, and to me the survival is not killing all the fish, it's killing enough fish over a course of time that you end up with Blobkin at the end.
It's more so that you end up with like 5 waves. 5 waves is what.
Right, but five waves is either in clearing all the fish, and currently the fish just spawn randomly, or it's in clearing a timer, in which case you're just waiting out the fish.
Basically, you'd like wave 5 has an end point where
Right.
the timer runs out and the game is over, and if you survive to that point you win, and if you didn't you lost.
Yeah.
And we count how
that's
many
the demo.
Blobkin there were at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, high score is what you're playing for, and that's it.
Yeah. Like if we're not adding mechanics to solve the issue, then we're adding a timer to dictate the waves.
I agree with the timer idea. And
Like, let's simplify, not.
So to simplify it, in order to do what you just suggested and end the demo on a timer, we start with the generator is broken down. We need to pile Blobkin in it to fuel it. It happens. It poof. Wave 1 is over. Okay.
That's not bad.
We need to fill the generator again because it's gonna, every time. And then in the final one, it's like we have finally fixed the generator. Fill it this time, and it's over. The shield pops into place. It doesn't go away. It's win state. There's no, like, you don't need to come up with a new model or another thing. You just have the generator work. The end.
And it could be built on the current code we have, because we're already doing collisions with the generator for a similar purpose anyway.
we have to make the generator visually more front and center, more important, because right now it's kind of like off to the side and not entirely clear as to its purpose.
Yeah.
It needs a tutorial. Like, it needs a character to very specifically, like, show you this is what's happening. The generator is breaking down. Throw us into it, but don't run out of Blobkins. And, like, then they just jump in.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
If we could have like Blobkin at the base of it, just like bowing and worshiping, and like like the whole like Temple of Doom Indiana Jones attitude, and then like oh they're worshiping that, yeah exactly, like oh they're worshiping it, it must therefore be important.
I will animate whatever you tell me. And that's fun. Okay, so let's kind of recap for a little bit. We start off with a little tutorial cinematic that kind of describes the situation. The generator's broken down and their home is about to get destroyed.
Question.
Yeah.
Will this thing be? Do you want this ready for the Steam release?
Yeah.
Because if so, okay, then if so, I'm going to have Illy rework the rig.
Of Blobbies?
Blobkins, yeah.
Yes.
I'll send her a message.
Cool. So we have a tutorial opener that kind of describes the village is about to be destroyed. Repair generator. How do I repair the generator? You throw us in here. Oh no! And enemies appear. Okay, so then you maybe one of them tells you to here grab this and defend us, and you pick it up, and like you have no ammo, and then the blob, you're hopefully people get to like shoot, and the blob is like, no, stick me in it, and you grab, and then you can shoot with the weapon, and so then you kill a few Fishker and a few blobbies spawn. How do we
do this?
We've told well the cinematic part is obviously difficult, but that's something I can take on with Mitchell and Jill. The part that I'm lost at from a overall view, okay, so the generator's clearly failed, and we've communicated to people, hey, the generator needs to be going. Do we just survive a wave? Like, do we just survive for 60 seconds? And then after 60 seconds,
no, we
the
need to
fish disappear?
throw them into the generator. The
They need-
generator makes the fish disappear.
Yeah.
But
The generator becomes your timer. Yeah.
And you set your pace.
Wait, two people said something different. Justin, you said the generator becomes a timer. Do you mean that there's a timer literally on it counting down till it'll be
No,
fixed again?
it's counting up because you're filling it.
Okay, so you have to. We still agree we have to purposely fill the generator.
Yes, and that there's a cap, and at that cap it pops, clears the level of enemies, and you're on to the next wave.
And so we definitely need a number there that says X amount have been tossed into generator.
Or zero out of a number or
how just a number of how many it needs, and then as you throw them in, the number goes down. A countdown is recognizable to people. It will.
Right.
We just need a hero character, Blobkin, that can tell us what is going on.
or a bubble even.
Yes, we have
Oh,
Bubs,
that's right,
and we have
Bubs.
Professor.
Okay. Well,
So,
the bubble's going to be a spear, and that's easy to animate. All right.
Wait,
spear
what?
with eyes.
Oh, sphere. They said spear. I'm like, are you
Yes.
adding another weapon?
We need a spear to throw at the fish.
So,
Do what I say.
now, one of the taglines that I've been using a lot is that it's a game of sacrifice, survival, and surprise. Hold the surprise for a moment. Sacrifice is definitely throwing the Blobkies in there to defend the rest of the town, right? Maybe we'll have I don't know about the huts. We'll leave the huts to the side. I do like the huts. I'm a little worried they don't have any mechanical function. Maybe they're just there aesthetically for now.
Huts can be a later thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So sacrifice. We have to sacrifice Blobbies, and the generator's got to be in front of us. Especially with Josiah's new version of it, I think we'll put that in the scene, and it'll be like front and center. So we toss it and it repairs, and it's only up for like 10 seconds. Maybe we can see like a little counter, and it dies again, right?
Well, when it's up, it's basically explaining to you that there's another wave coming, right? So maybe that's that time there is the time for another little, Bubs flies out in front of you and is like, this, isn't going to be enough, whatever, like explains what's going on. And when he's done, the next wave starts.
Yeah. And it shouldn't be like 30 seconds. It should be like maybe 10, 15 seconds. And so, it's not enough. And then the generator goes back down, and then more fish come at you, and you got to shoot them. Bang, 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 bang. Okay, so maybe the fish get a little bigger. Maybe the fish maybe there's some indication that the fish are harder. Now that we figured out how to do random colors and we figured out how to do sizes, maybe instead of it being random, it's tied to more like, oh, you're on wave 2, so you're using the slightly harder fish, the slightly bigger fish, right? Potentially.
It sounds good.
Sounds
good. For the demo purposes, we're still going to do the suggestion of just like giving you the other guns, even if it doesn't necessarily make sense for the progression story of the game, but like so that the demo users can play with the other guns.
So maybe you get it on like the second or third wave. Maybe you get it on the third wave, because the second wave, now you need to hit them 3 times and they die, right? So second wave, shoot and hit them 3 times to die. I can just hear Chris in the background going, "No!"
But the numbers are going to change a lot of things, though. This is something that you have to think about. The number of Blobkin you have are your ammo. So if you put one Blobkin in a gun and it is 5 shots, and you have to use 3 of them, more than half of that Blobkin to shoot one guy, and 1 meat falls from him, and that meat makes 1 Blobkin, then you must never miss, because you have to use over half your shots to succeed. So, like, you're going to have to tweak the numbers and figure out exactly how many hits it's going to take before you start just failing, running out of Blobkins constantly.
So this kind of leads me to think that will be tweaking time, which we'll definitely need to do. So then the third wave, I think you should get the shotgun. And maybe Bub says, "Here, use this," or something like that. Wave 4 gets difficult. Wave 5 gets even harder. Maybe each wave can be... I do like the idea that each wave can be like a new hut appears, and that kind of indicates the next wave.
I don't think we need another indication of the next wave. We're trying not to slow this down, right? You want these interludes to be like 10 seconds or so, right?
Oh, I
so
just meant like literally they just like pop. Like
but then we have a thing appearing with no explanation
I guess
as to why. I think if we're going to add hut building as part of the game, we should worry about that after the demo, because we don't need to add a mechanic, and adding it without adding mechanic is like, what just happened?
We have a lot of mechanics as it is. I think, personally.
Maybe we're over mechanized. So first wave, shoot with the small weapon. Second wave, need to hit him 2 times. Third wave, you get the shotgun. Fourth wave's harder. Fifth wave, you get the rocket launcher.
I mean, sure. It's if we don't get it, then no one will get to try it out. It won't be fun.
And that's when the generator, on the end of the 5th, should you survive, is when generator pops and is open. Okay. But it does depend on you constantly throwing Blobkins into the generator, so you could theoretically go for a long time if you were crazy.
Like that's been the same gameplay loop that is going on now is still going on. Like, you could stay in a wave longer.
Yeah.
You could not get very far and then think, I shall go back to the beginning and strategize by staying in wave 1 longer to shoot more fish to generate, because I get more Blobkins per bullet I shoot. And then I'll start wave 2 with more Blobkins saved up.
It's kind of like those people in RPGs who play like the first levels a lot to get a bunch of coins and XP.
Right. Basically, like, you can end up grind the Blobkin, or you can try to speed run it. So theoretically, there should be a little bit of strategy to it if we have it set up so that it is possible not to run out of ammo.
No, I feel like there should be a curve here that, like, you better have thrown, like, maybe the first wave is just 2 Blobkins into the generator or something, but I feel like there needs to be a curve, because you shouldn't be able to stay in the first wave for like 10 minutes, maybe maximum 90 seconds.
There is supposed to be a curve where it ramps up at 1:30, was what we agreed on previously. It was supposed to get to the point where you could not handle it anymore. But you know what? I think we do need to hide. We need to give it another shot without, like, even putting the shotgun and the rocket launcher in. We just need to stick with the pistol for now. Because it's clearly changing the weight of everything.
Oh,
And-
you're right. You're right. And the shotgun definitely needs to appear in the third wave, like halfway through this for sure.
Right, but as of now, we need to try to just package the demo without those two weapons, so we can get a good bearing on that first one, that first level, that first wave, because most people are just playing that first wave.
I think we should put the shotgun just to get some kind of progression in there, because it will
They're
get
gonna
kind
get progression either way. Like the first level is not that hard. You can get through it with the pistol.
I know. I'm saying in the third, fourth wave is when.
Right,
you
but
should
as
do
of
it.
now, we Chris, Josh,
I mean,
how
right
hard
now-
would it
Yeah, go ahead.
could we how hard would it be to implement a spawner that on the third wave the shotgun appears?
It shouldn't to be on the third wave explicitly. It shouldn't be too difficult.
Okay. So try to look for
Right?
that.
So it's just wave 3, not every 3 waves, right?
No, just the
Okay.
third wave.
It should be fairly easy then.
Okay. Spawning.
So let me kind of run through it one more time in my head, just so we get it right. So we spawn. We have the pistol. There's a little tutorial that kind of tells us what's going on. We need to repair the generator. Basically, we got to defend this little what's left of the Blobkin village here. We have to defend it. We can defend it by protecting this generator, and it goes down. So we sacrifice the blobby. It comes right back up, and then maybe another blobby gives you the weapon, or maybe the generator goes back down. The blobby gives you a weapon. Sacrifice me, defend us. You smash the blobby into the weapon, and start shooting enemies. Bang, 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 bang. Eventually, a voice, maybe Bubs or something, a voice should come to you and say, "Hey, we throw us into the generator. Repair the generator." So, oh, right, and you just pick and throw, and you throw them into the generator, and it comes up. Yay, we did it! Oh no, and it comes right back down again. Defend us again while we repair the generator. Bang, 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 bang. Okay, we need to sacrifice more of them. Bang, bang. Okay, so we sacrifice more. Now we're currently on the second wave, but then after enough sacrifices, we're on the third wave, and maybe it lasts a teeny bit longer. Somehow we communicate, hey, here's the shotgun. Oh, okay. Got the shotgun. Wave goes back down again. The fish are subsequently harder and harder. And then we get to the fifth wave, and we need to sacrifice. I'm afraid I really don't want to have like 30 Blobkin on the board, because it was taxing. I'm just afraid. That's all. Just in terms of machine power. So maybe 30 is like the max. So maybe we have to sacrifice like 15 or 20 Blobkin.
Maybe we just put a cap on it.
Like you can only ever have no more than like 20
Yep.
Blobkin. Or
They could
maybe
save the food, because if there's a cap and it's like, if there's more than these Blobkin, don't eat, then you could just, when you throw guys in, then they'll eat the food that's on the ground and they'll come back. So like,
what if
you won't.
this is probably too complex, but what if a Blobkin needs to eat twice before it pops into 2 more?
Why?
Just so you protect them more?
So keep in mind, we're still talking about the economy of this game.
Yeah.
If a Blobkin must eat 2 meats before it turns into 2 Blobkin, you have to kill 2 fish to make 1 Blobkin, and you have to fire how many shots to kill 2 fish, which equals how many Blobkin. Like, every time you double one of these numbers, you throw all the other numbers
Yeah.
off.
It's a very delicate balance of numbers. Got it. Okay. So 1 meat, 1 new Blobkin. Bloop. But yeah, maybe they cap at 30, just for performance sake.
Yeah, we could just do that for now.
Bobby's capped at 30.
I already wrote it.
No, it just helps me remember too. But you're on it. And then okay, so Blobky's capped at 30. So we're on the 5th wave. We have 30 blobbies on the field. We should be really overwhelmed. Like at 90 seconds every time we're overwhelmed, but at the start of the 5th wave, like we've got to be quick. Maybe by 90 seconds it's virtually impossible. But it shouldn't be. I'm afraid to have more than like 20 fish on the board. As you could see what was happening with like 10 fish on the board and a bunch of blobbies, like the machine was taxing.
Not only that, it's just kind of gross and messy to look at.
Yeah, so maybe
it's visually unappealing.
Maybe they're just bigger and fatter and harder to kill.
I think we need to cut down on the bigness because it's really looking too clunky. They look too big. They're easier to hit. They're slower as well to get there, so you can take them out a lot quicker. And if they're gonna all spot, they're all gonna follow the same general spline. So what's gonna happen? You can hit them, more of them, with the shotgun.
Yeah, that was happening. Maybe they just require more shots. Maybe it's color.
Maybe how about this? Maybe we don't make them bigger, but we just make them smaller. Because smaller would be harder for them to hit. It would make it more difficult, and that way we know how big they're going to get, and they don't become obscenely big.
That's clever.
It does add to the challenge if they become smaller. Even if they don't require more shots, you will miss more.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So we start with big fish, but we end with small fish. I like it.
Starting with big, slow fish, and the final boss is tons of very small fish.
Yeah.
And yeah,
maybe
well,
not
there's
more,
no final
but
boss.
faster.
And here's what I was thinking. I was thinking, like, by that time, I think we'll have at least a shell, David. So we could just have it rise up over the edge and then cut the black.
Oh, okay. I can buy a tease.
We don't even need.
So yeah, okay, I could buy that. Like the shield's up. Yeah, you've saved the village and defended us from the Fishkers, and then maybe in the background, and you're like, what is going on? And you see this big, and then you cut.
Exactly.
I mean, it could even be a spear with like a shell texture on it.
No, we're gonna want it to look good and intimidating, and not like a spear with the texture on it.
I like the idea that they get smaller. Wow.
Cool.
Okay, Chris. How intimidated are you?
I'm still working on the attacking for the Fishka. So like all this stuff is already on the back burner.
It's for next week. Next week. The biggest thing you got to solve is the ability for them to attack. Because I feel like at this point, adjusting where the generator is and adjusting, like we're really tweaking the values of the amount of how big these fish are, where they're coming from. I think all of that is really just refinement. So it doesn't seem like we're creating any brand new code here. That's probably not the right way to phrase that. We're using a lot of the pieces that we already have. Starting next week, I would think.
Right.
I think.
I'm sure we can cross that bridge when we get there. Like, it shouldn't be too difficult because, like you mentioned, you're just using kind of a basis we already have.
Yeah.
But
like the shotgun starts later. The generator's more in front. We have to have text.
Yeah.
The fishies start big and slow, so they're no longer really that random, but they get smaller and harder, faster to hit. Right. So that ramps down. Adding the little cinematic thing and such is something that we can work on with Jill and Mitchell. So it's okay. That hopefully won't be too much on your plate. The generator breaking down, like the bubble would be on and then, I do like the concept though of like having like a win state, because I think today we hit like our max, and the only other thing I worry about, Chris and Andrew, is that like at 90 seconds you have to lose because I could go on for a while.
Yeah, I know. Like that's something that needs to be to the point. I think solving the issue of them standing still and not doing anything will fix that.
Yeah.
Can you, Chris? Could you? So here's the question: once they complete the action of eating the Blobkin, do they just go back around? Like, do they just like swim up into the sky and then come back for a second one, or do they go straight back to the spawn and they're replaced?
As of right now, they teleport back to their old spot because it's not done.
That sounds fine. That's perfectly fine for now.
Right. The original intention is that they kind of just go back across the same action, so they, I guess, swim backwards. If that makes sense.
Could they just like, is there a way to just kind of get them to swim back to the spawn without swimming the same exact path? Because like they could just, dart away into like a cave or something.
As of right now, I have no idea.
What if, Andrew, so they take the spline, they come to their position, they line up for the enemy, and they attack. And they don't stop attacking. Eat one, eat another, eat another, eat another. Like, they don't stop attacking.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. Because fish are horrible. If you watch these lionfishes, they eat other, like, they just go for it, so.
Right.
Our biggest goal.
New tagline: fish are horrible.
Fish are horrible. Shoot them in the Blobkin Blaster. Okay, well, we're at like a little over an hour, and I think we've this is good. We hit a problem. We discussed it. Chris is working on the mechanic of, or I should say the code of once he gets there, he eats, and that's all you're doing all week, Chris. And then Josh is working on this level, getting the splines and everything sorted out, and more of like the trash in the area, which I think is good. Andrew's on Gibbs, still Gibby, Gib.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Jason, I hate the shooting particle, the little that goes sideways. I hate it. But I know you've got ideas.
Yeah, I'll be able to work on particles possibly after Friday when I get RAM so that I can build a computer that functions.
Yes. Functional computers.
Yes. Right now, all I've been able to do is draw some things for the comic.
Excellent. And then the other one is I don't really love the poof. I don't think it's stylistically matches.
Nope, that's old. We want to replace that. We just don't.
Yeah,
Jason's computer is kind of.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. And then Justin, you're here to just draw and talk shit about us.
Apparently.
No, I think you spawned a very good discussion today that we didn't entirely think about.
And I do think that, yeah, like where we're at now, where our goals are, starting with as much of what we already have without adding too much is definitely the way to get, I think, something in folks' hands sooner rather than later. Because we want to know how people like it or what they think about it.
Exactly. Jason, we're gonna close out on this image. What's this cool image? What's going on here? Tease us. You're also muted, Jason. Jason, you're muted.
Darn. There it goes. Yeah, can't unmute things when I'm clicking on some other screen. This is what I have for Blobakaze, the veteran Blobkin. He's made fun of because he does not die. He maybe has some equipment or possibly a plastic bottle with a fish hook stuck to his hand. I don't know.
Andrew will kill me, but I still keep thinking it would be funny if we had, like, in the wild, you could find different Blobkin that give you different abilities, and he's the one that you would shake and throw because he actually becomes a grenade.
No, his bit is that he never does die. So
yeah,
I mean, I'm just challenging ideas.
I don't mind them being collectibles. Like that would be fine, and they're like your hype team.
Okay.
But but I do not want to see them being abilities because we have like environmental abilities, and that's cooler, I think.
Okay. Well, this is definitely milestone 3 stuff. Because milestone 1 is May. You heard it here, May 15th. We're going to fully functional, fun little demo. Milestone 2, I think, is when we actually start introducing the wide open abyss and have our first battle out there. Milestone 3, collectibles. All right. Hey, this has been great. Does anyone have anything else they want to share before we close it out? Or are we good?
Thank you, folks, for coming.
Yay! Thank you all for
you.
coming. Woohoo! Ending the stream. Good job, team.